Hey family, I'm back. I think we're on part four or five. I'm not sure where we're at in this story and this apology in the understanding. Again, I can't preface it too much. It's just a lot. We're gonna roam where the thoughts go because Inky said so. And that's kind of where I was at this entire time this morning when I got up. Even, and again, to let you understand how much disrespect I don't intend on Sundays, even though, I mean, I get the whole Saturday versus Sunday argument for Christians in the for me, today is my day off and it's Sunday. No, I'm not in church because I don't really align with any of that. But I come outside, barefoot meditation, all of that. And even with my understanding, and I do bring in like a lot of the Hindu and Vedic mantras and from all different kinds of spirituality. I work with quite a lot of that. And I've had profound revelations and understood that if people stop searching for God and look for Christ, they'll find it in almost every religion. Humans have a very, it's just the way we are. Everything we don't understand, we either deify it and or kill it. That's what we've done. Look at history. And the observation of human nature has given Enlil a superior edge in the very careful crafting of what we call the religions. He's the one that ordered a worship gene placed in us, and Enki did comply. But Enki understood that once they combined that Anunnaki DNA and made that hominid into Homo sapiens sapien and made it so that we could become sentient, that gave him a level of responsibility and kinship to humanity that Enki just would not put under abject mental slavery forever. And so, as the lead geneticist on the project, he did insert that worship gene. We do have a profound natural proclivity, most people, to worship something. Even atheists wind up worshiping something, materialism, whatever it is that they find. They just don't believe in God. They switch it to something else, most people. But Enki said no, they will have the ability to turn that off and lead in moderation. And the spiritual teachings and leanings that he promoted, since he was going to be here and guiding people, lend more to that. Even though Enki, or Enlil rather, Yahweh, and that camp has over the years done a fabulous job of demonizing Satan. I refuse to say it the way they say it because it's not the same. At that time period, Enki, Marduk, all of that, they painted in a very ugly light. But truth be known, if you look through history, Enki is responsible for the Canaanitic religions and faiths, so basically, that started leaning towards more gentle ways and loving ways. If you look at like Hinduism and Buddhism and Jainism, and I get it, in all beliefs over time through spiritual telephone, like I said, they all get distorted to a way. But overall, what was painted as bad and evil in the scriptures and turned into something ugly and made Christians afraid of is actually the more loving path. So during the time of the Bible, if you look at what was going on, the Israelites did not always worship Yahweh. They picked up Yahwehism when they were roaming around out there in the desert as a nomadic tribe. They came across other nomads and all of that. But when they were in captivity Yahweh told Enki, let my people go. And did all of that stuff and the magic and all of that they put in the plagues, all of it. They even describe in the Bible that there were other beings here. They described the Ajiji and all of that. They told you there was giants in the land, so much that Joshua and Caleb, when they came into the promised land and went to scout things out, they came back with these huge, bountiful grapes and the leeks and the melons and the, oh Lord, we've been out here eating all this manna once a day. You created a miracle for us, but you basically just gave us the bread up out the dew. We ate that for however 40, how many years did they scrape manna off the ground? Now they're being delivered to the promised land. But there's giants in this land. Joshua and Caleb was afraid to go over there. So Yahweh put on this whole big thing in the whoop-de-whoop. And then they finally said, well, you know what? Y'all can go do what you want. You can go on over there, but we're going to ride with Yahweh. And look how much hell and turmoil they stayed in ever since. But that's what they chose to do, because they're told that eventually, because Yahweh was willing to kill his firstborn son to give for their benefit for the goof up he made, that somehow it was going to all work out. Where they do that at? We're told we're made in God's image, but even most of us, if we really look at the square roots of that story, there's a problem with it. But that's the same God that told Abraham to take his firstborn son up the mountain and cut his throat in a sacrifice to him. They're telling you exactly who Yahweh is. But that part's cool. The part that bothers me is the devil's greatest tool is his anonymity, and this whole painting of the lie they tell around this Lucifer person. Because truthfully, that Lucifer, son of the morning star, that's the only reference to Lucifer in the Bible, and they know it's a deliberate mistranslation of a mistranslation that was allowed to stay in those translations of text for 200 years until the church said, anything we choose to put out there, if we hold to it for 200 years, it becomes facts. Because in 200 years, will have churned through 3 to 4 human generations. Who's left to remember the truth? We can just let that one. We can keep that in there. I like that one. We're going to keep it. Literally. And because of that, they have people scared of this devil with the pitchfork and the horns and all of that. And trust me, y'all, I'm not saying that they don't have real interactions with some other paranormal ish out there, and these people that get tied up with Satanism and all that, as we see, because in this day and time, again, through spiritual telephone, Luciferianism and Satanism are literally the far extreme offshoots of Yahwehism. They are. And they learned how to summon and work with other dimensional beings, creatures, and quite a fit. Y'all don't even understand how much energy we actually do create things in our energy. So that is a real realm, and there's a lot of evil, nasty stuff that'll play with people if they choose to get caught up in it. I'm not denying any of that. I'm just saying, if you step back a little bit and see what we're trying to be offered, the one that was literally trying to help us find a way to work with that DNA that we were given and become sentient and conscious and arise and ascend the way they've done on their home planets as they began to ascend, to literally, if you're going to, they didn't seed the planet, but they seeded the conscious life forms on this planet. If you want to work with that program to your best advantage, instead of continuing to churn and burn through your pitifully short lifetimes, since Enlil had a hissy fit and ordered an age cap on our telomeres as well, that was a later install. down the line. They weren't lying in the Bible when they said Methuselah lived 945 years. That's true. But here's the thing, when the whole Garden of Eden thing got busted up, Enlil stayed there at the palace. Enki was sent out into the Abzu and started doing his thing, and you started having these other cultures pop up and all of that. And that thing with the ziggurat, and they got to the, what is it with Erwin, the Tower of Babel, because mankind was ascending in technology and the things that they were learning, because Papa Enki was teaching them. And when Enlil got word of it, he had a fit and came in and had them destroyed it, because he said they'll be like us and they'll build a tower to the heavens and we can't have that, and scatter their languages. Well, when they did that, he's the one that's gotten the upper hand through some of the other sibling stuff that happened, and they outlined some of that in some of the other epics and the other information out there, but without going down that rabbit hole too much. Once all of that happened and everything scattered, see, they want you to believe because it's his show in the Bible, so they only gonna tell you Enlil's part. But the larger information shows that while he was doing that, Enki and several others, delegates, if you will, that were part of the programs and the goings on that allowed this to happen here on Earth, they all scattered as well. And the regions that they set up and chose for themselves, yes, the people in people fashion wound up deifying them, because Enlil said that's what they were supposed to do. He said, y'all, you better not never tell nobody we ain't really God. We are gods. So they all went and they took their different things. And truthfully, even if you, because before I was able to understand that, when I was still trying to connect with the idea of God being the one and who made, and kept not really thinking past Earth and this galaxy, and then you think out to the universe and the omniverse and all of that. My thing was, again, I just lost that thought, but it's just as well because I see we're rocking on for time. This is fun though. I am going somewhere with this. I appreciate you letting me ramble, because like I said, this morning's meditation was a doozy. I'm just trying to get some of these thoughts out and lined up, but we're coming up on it. I'll see you in a few. Love you.